Doofenshmirtz quality bratwurst.
As a child, I watched quite a lot of television. I didn't have a cell phone as a kid, or an iPad. My parents didn't really believe in those things, so the Nintendo Wii my aunt gave me, and a cable box were the only electronics I really had. And things were perfect. They were all I needed to enjoy myself as a kid. It was my escape from reality. So naturally, everything got worse. So as a kid, my 3 favorite TV shows were as follows: SpongeBob, Mythbusters, and the oddball, Beakman's World. Naturally, there were plenty of other shows that I watched as well. Some more normal, such as Phineas and Ferb, and some more odd, such as Wow Wow Wubbzy. Either way, I could watch whatever I wanted, live or on demand. And then Time Warner Cable did what all cable services were doing. It got expensive. Really expensive. As in $35 a month in 2012 expensive. So of course, my parents turned to the best thing available at the time. Satellite TV. Specifically, DirecTV is what we had, and it was rather terrible. I remember my first time getting used to how everything worked with the new layout. I typed the channel number for Nickelodeon, and when it switched over to SpongeBob, it worked for roughly 30 seconds before the signal completely froze itself and stayed like that for an hour, because it was raining. That was the first of 2 big problems with the change. The signal was consistently inconsistent. There happened to be rain, wind, clouds, or the mere existence of the mention of winter. Then the signal collapsed in on itself. But then I noticed that this had an on-demand feature like our old cable package. I tried to search for Mythbusters on it, and it came up with only 7 episodes available to watch. 2 of which were unwatchable because they were glitched, and would only play an ad for going into a different show entirely. By now, I remember being a particularly unhappy camper. It was a pretty rainy day, so TV was the kind of thing to do, but no matter. I knew I had one show I could always watch. Beakman's World. So I make my way to the on-demand search bar. I make sure to spell it correctly. I press enter, and there are no results. Beakman's World was taken away from me. Don't you remember?
You were there too, McQueen.
This is the segue to the next part of the video. Now, we cut to like a year-ish after this cable conundrum. Probably longer, but my memory doesn't memory that well, so we'll call it a year. My parents discovered this thing called the Netflix. We ordered a couple DVDs, I think, but then came the Wii disc, streaming videos directly. We signed up, and I was now freed from my satellite TV woes. When people say, oh, Netflix used to have everything, they mean it. They had The Sponge Boy, Mythmen and a Woman, a new show I was getting into called Dr. Huh, and most importantly, The Beakman had returned. I remember binging the entirety of Beakman at once, along with other shows that I like, such as The Clam Chowder and Dude, What Would Happen. That last one isn't even a joke title, it was just called that. Destroy Build Destroy was better. Things were once again perfect. So naturally, everything got worse. Turned out, we had joined Netflix right on the tail end of the Netflix has literally everything era. And such, with the removal of SpongeBob, a purge began. SpongeBob gone. Chowder, gone. Mythbusters, gone. Doctor Who, classic or new, both gone. 72 most dangerous animals in Australia. Even you and your various spiders were not safe from the purge of licensing agreements. Gone. But certainly most annoying to me at the time, Beakman's World was gone. I remember being so sad about Beakman being taken back from me a second time that I asked my mom to call Netflix and ask them to bring it back, in which the Netflix representative told my mom, quote, "Not enough people watch that show, so we can't put it back on Netflix. Have a nice day." You know how when life is unfair in a very specific way and it just leaves that stinging sensation in your heart? That was the first of many times I've felt betrayed by the universe itself.
Scatman's World.
The thing about my mother is that she doesn't give up very easily, and it turned out that she had kept looking for a way for me to watch Beakman's World. Since losing Beakman's World on Netflix, it was rather difficult to get a hold of it at all, even with the new streaming boxes we now had, which gave us the wonderful channels of Netflix, which had already let me down, Pandora, which was just for music, Crackle, which we didn't actually own, it just came with the Roku, the Angry Birds Roku app, and whatever Nickelodeon was making at the time, which would have been... Oh, Jesus fucking goddamn it, get this shit out of here! So what actually brought my favorite show back to me? Well, my mother ended up calling around for months at a time until eventually she found a guy in Florida who had a way to watch those reruns with the ability to record shows onto a computer. Then he recorded the reruns, cut out the ads, burned them to discs, typed out his own episode guide, put them in cases with homemade covers, and sent them to us just in time for Christmas. And you know what the best part is? I still own them to this day, at least a decade later.
Oh, Don, it's that time again.
But Herb, I hate slopping the seal.
No, I mean, it's time to turn on Beakman's World.
Oh, good.
Then you can slop the seal.
How come you never slop the seal?
I give you slop every night for dinner, isn't that enough?
Ooh, what are we having tonight?
Slop of the day.
Oh.
This entire incident with Beakman's World was the catalyst that would slowly evolve into beginning a decent-sized group of DVDs by the beginning of high school, which has since evolved to a full-size collection of physical media. In fact, one of my good friends at the time, who lives in California now, he gave me like 30 DVDs or something to help me with that. Lots of DVDs, VHS, and some Blu-rays. Mostly it's been movies, but we got some TV shows and plenty of oddities along the way. Such as, it says here in parentheses, "Just go crazy with it, buddy boy." Okay. It made me realize that streaming is quite the double-edged sword. On one hand, it's rather convenient to just put something on and let it sit in the background like old leftovers. On the other hand, I've had too many of my favorite shows and movies just taken away from me and either put somewhere else or just thrown into the void for me to really trust it. Thank you all for watching. This is a different kind of format that I wanted to try. If y'all like this, I might make it into a series. That's really it. I will say, before I finally cut this off, all of I am trying to work on more spooky stuff. But also, everything in my collection I've bought, for the most part, secondhand. Which means thrifting and occasional eBay, but mostly just thrifting. And it's been not that expensive, comparatively, because of that. The Blu-ray, we're getting to the point where even Blu-rays are starting to pop in used. So you find occasional good ones every now and then. Yeah. Please subscribe if you like. Bye-bye.